Hello YouTube, Ranger of Oz is back once again, and if you feel the need to giggle at this poor sod that we are looking at today, don't worry, you're not the only one. This is the Souhcaku Henshin Kamen Rider Todoroki from the Kamen Rider Hibiki line. We looked at the decade version of the Hibiki figure last week, so this week we're going to look at one of the other riders in this series. Yes, he looks hilarious. That is not entirely a mold problem. Well, it isn't. Again, this is the Gimmick stepping in and making things look really, really funny. His head is on this overly long ball joint here. You've got bits and pieces sticking out of his shoulders. The ball joint on it isn't too bad. Same with the bicep swivel, the forearm swivel, elbow. Again, fingers. I'm kind of liking the fact that we have fingers. We have a hip joint this time. It's a standard G.I. Joe hip joint, backed up with a not quite going into the splits ball joint for the legs. There's another thigh swivel. There's a thigh swivel. Almost a double joint. Almost a double joint. Not quite, but it does get a fair bit of range there. And ball joint on the ankles. I'm liking the ball joint on the ankles. You can do all sorts of things with it. It's really cool. Now, the gimmick for poor Todoroki is all of this. Yes, he's a parts former. No, not quite. The idea with this is that all of this armor allows him to transform. You have weapons, you have various versions of certain points. Like these two here are his transformation device in the open and closed modes. And the whole idea basically is you put all of this onto him and he doesn't quite look so ridiculous. Let's test that theory. When we put all the parts on, we find that he's actually not a bad looking figure. There are a lot of people that don't like the Hibiki riders. They're no, they're not. They don't look like Kamen Riders, and I can agree. They don't look like the traditional Kamen Riders. I'll get to that eventually. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad design. I actually quite like them. I don't know what it is. I really do like these designs. And Todoroki, I mean, it's not the sculpting isn't quite as good on the FFR. On the final form ride we had a look at last week. The head is still a really good sculpt. The putting the helmet on does not restrict movement at all. In fact, it looks so much better than giraffe neck Todoroki. Have a look down here. Really, the sculpting on it, the good detail continues on right the way down the figure. Muscles, individual string on his belt buckle. The stickers on the disc animals that he has here are just excellent. That is very nice. The guitar, which actually comes in both its open and closed modes. Transformation device, again, is just very nice in both modes. If you look at his... Go down and look at his the open mode, you can see, again, individual strings have been painted in there. So this is not a collector toy. This is a toy that kids are supposed to play with. And I just love the detail on it. It is just superbly done. You can, as in the series, you can take the belt buckle out and stick it onto the open version of his guitar so he can perform his finisher, which is basically stabbing a monster with this thing and rocking it to death. That is awesome. killing things with music. I can agree with that. So, anyway, Kamen Rider Todoroki, Souhcaku Henshin. I love it. Looks a bit ridiculous without the armor, but you put the armor on there, and that is a solid looking figure, and if you can track it down, I got this the same place I got the Final Form ride, Hobby Link Japan. If you can track these down, get them, because once you've got all the armor on it, it looks superb. Anyway, Ranger of Oz signing off once again. I'll see you next week with the last member of our little Kamen Rider trio.